Hey, good morning, y'all. Welcome to Figuring It Out with me, Kelly Renee. We're all figuring it out. How to live the life we want, living our truth, living authentically. It's so good to see you. Anyway, this is episode 45. This week's question is, are you okay with where you are? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I'm not okay, and 5 being I'm confident and strong, where do you rate your life today? First, no matter where you see yourself on the spectrum, I want you to know you are loved, you are valued, you are oh so precious. If you find you're on the higher end of the spectrum, I'm excited for you. Way to go. You may be my ideal client because you already have a taste for what life can offer and you're ready to take the next step. If you're on the lower end of the spectrum and struggling, I want you to know it's okay. We all struggle. You don't have to do a darn thing to be worthy. You are worthy and valuable just the way you are. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the performance and perfection trap. Living there is not very comfortable. I know. I did it for years. And then one day, I decided to ask more questions, began to pause and think about what was most important to me. I decided to rethink if meeting other people's expectations was really serving me well. First and foremost, with acknowledging that I'm okay just the way I am. That's part of the radical self acceptance I have to talk about with people. We're all human, we make mistakes. Allowing ourselves grace for our past indiscretions and using those times and events as learning opportunities to do better in the future is critical to peace in our own hearts. And it opens the doors to forgiving others their discretions against us. It doesn't matter if I own a restaurant, drive for Uber, manage a client experience team, or launch a life coach practice. My career choice does not define who I am, and it doesn't define you either. Too many times in the past, my passion for my job and the customers I serve was where I found my identity. Performance and hitting metrics, while not the most important, became the gauge I used for measuring my success. While I did have success along the way, I also missed out on a lot. Time with my family and friends, community. Those things always seem to play a secondary role in my life. The pressure I put on myself and the pressure I put on others to do the same was unfair to them and difficult for me to maintain. In my early years, I suffered from burnout and I had to take breaks or walk away. The decisions I made weren't always the best, and I often thought it would have been nice to have someone to talk to about where I was and where I was headed. Unfortunately, those relationships were far and few between for me. What I've discovered is understanding that what I want has given me the space to help myself and more authentically support those around me. Coming to grips with the fact that I'm not a performer for someone else's show has allowed me to become free of everyone else's expectations and expend my energy on what is important. Values and ethics come to play here too. So does emotional resilience. These things guide me as I continue to grow and develop as a human. How does that feel for you? Does it resonate at all? You know, yes, we in the LGBTQ plus community still face an uphill battle when it comes to gaining acceptance and equality. And you know what? That's okay. Really, it is. And the reason is because of the progress we've made as a community is palpable. It's something to celebrate. We are always going to have some who, for whatever reason, just cannot wrap their heads around the fact that people like us, who are living our lives different than they think or believe, should even exist. When marriage equality was being debated early on, some states thought it was prudent to allow civil unions instead of marriage for same sex couples. They thought the compromise would be enough, and they could finally put a divisive issue to rest. Well, guess what? It wasn't, and it couldn't, and it didn't. Today is a memorable day because the Marriage Equality Act is becoming the law of the land. After many years of struggle, this is a huge step forward. We no longer need to rely on a Supreme Court ruling and hold our breath every time someone wants to challenge it, as we saw in Roe. You see real people telling real stories about their committed same-sex relationships brought humanity and normalization to the conversation. All the protests and vitriol over the years certainly had an impact, and yet it was the humanity of committed same-sex partners that won the day. It was that normalization of same-sex marriages that helped show the commonality with traditional marriages. So you see, how we live our lives, how we show up every day does make a difference. On a macro level, progress is being made in the pursuit of equality, yet on the micro level, you and I, living our lives and showing up every day, and then being willing to tell our stories is what wins the day. Whether it's same-sex marriage, diversity in the workplace, love and support at home, our hope is in how we choose to respond every single day. Yes, I'm a believer in personal responsibility, and the change begins with us. No matter where you are in life today or where you fall on the spectrum I mentioned earlier, you can thrive and do better. It takes some work, and the framework I've developed to help you get there, it's based on several key areas of focus to walk you through a transformation of self-inquiry, love and acceptance for who you are, and then exploring the possibilities for your life. All of us, me included, have allowed limiting beliefs to hold us back. Let's walk through those limiting beliefs and figure out how and why you felt bound, and then let's get you on a path to greater fulfillment. After working with me, you'll have the confidence to be assertive in those water cooler conversations about what you and your partner did over the weekend. Can you imagine how your work life will change when you're no longer fearful of speaking up in those meetings where you had something important to add and didn't? Let's work on confidence to strengthen and rebuild friend and family relationships. Are you in a fight with your brain about not being enough? We're constantly going to spend time replacing those ugly thoughts of confusion and inadequacy with the thought that you are enough and deserve so much more. And we're going to find the evidence to support it. I'm not a big believer in mantras. So we'll take a dive into why you feel that way and then examine the evidence and about how you are enough. When you take control of paralyzing fear and the fight or flight thoughts that hold you back, a whole new world opens up to you. You know, we've all been dealt a certain hand. While some of those hands can be more challenging than others, the good news is we don't have to stay there. Are you ready? Let's go. Give me a call and set up a consult. Hey, I love y'all. Thinking about y'all today. You are valued. You are loved. You are oh so precious. And remember, life's too short. Be kind. Do good. Let's talk.